everybody. Welcome.
Hello.
Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I'm coming live from Washington, D.C. tonight, so I am on my laptop, so hopefully it behaves. I am joined by Rod, my co-host below us. Josh has been on before, but Hayley has not. So it is Hayley.
Yeah, I'm new here. Hello.
Yes. And then Tiffypie has not been on yet either. So Tiffypie is here as well. So we are super, super excited. I am going to make everybody big, let them introduce themselves, and then Rod disappears, and then we'll go to the questions. Here's Josh and Hayley.
Wrong button.
Oh, starting with us. Okay, Hayley, take it away.
No, you take it away. I don't know.
Well, I'm Josh.
I'm Hayley, obviously.
This is Hayley, and we're just here to have a good time, answer some questions, hang out with you guys, and let's just jump into it.
Let's do it. All right, here's Tiffy.
Hi guys, I'm Tiffypie. On most of my socials, Tiffypie089 on Poshmark. Still trying to fight the one person who has Tiffypie but doesn't use her account. And I'm super excited. Super big thanks to Kat and Rod for having me. I feel very paled in comparison to Josh and Hayley, but I feel pretty lucky that they let me sit next to them in the square. So thanks, guys.
In the Hollywood squares.
That's all I could think of was Hollywood squares.
I know. We had 6 people one time. And we felt like the Brady Bunch more than Hollywood Squares. It was kind of fun. But. All right, let's jump in. Absolute Fine says, hey guys, any advice on having the goal of going full-time one day? And do you think it's possible to do a loan without a private source? I'm assuming they mean for inventory. Sometimes it seems impossible and people say it's just a hobby.
That's
Josh, it's me.
Yeah,
You start.
You're like
first,
in
man.
the
You're
hobby.
first.
Okay. So every time somebody asks about full time, and I'm not going to answer all the questions. I'm going to let Hayley answer some questions too.
I'm diverting to you at first, though.
But full time, there's like a big spectrum there. Like the full time could mean anything. Full time could be, however much money you need per month. It could be $2,000 a month if you can live on that, or it could be $20,000 a month. So it's not like a flat definition. But actually, the Trash to Cash podcast, today's episode, they talked about going full time, I guess, and like how much money you can make as a full time reseller. And I think the general consensus was like, it's pretty easy to net like 50 grand a year if you're full time working 40, 50 hours a week, getting stuff at garage sales and flea markets and, flipping stuff like that. And I agree with that. I think if full time for you could be about 50 to 60 grand a year, I think that's definitely doable, even without a private source, just going to Goodwills and stuff. But feel free to disagree.
Hayley, you want to chime in at all?
I don't know. I guess we agree. We also usually say that like people do make it like doing like full-time reselling, but we also like to see like when people have like multiple streams of income, whether it's like you're selling on multiple platforms or I don't know, you have like a print on demand. I don't know something else other than just like one source. Cause some people go like all in. And then when that one source isn't working, then they feel like they failed. So yeah, just like diversifying yourself.
Tiffy?
I agree. No, I'm kidding. I won't just say I agree to every single thing. They did a joke before we started that's what everyone always says. But I actually do agree. I'm going to be really cheesy and rainbowy and say I believe you can do anything you put your heart into. You're going to have to work your butt off. You're going to have to do a lot. And it's going to mean sometimes working. There was a couple weeks where business was really slow. So I was working 80 hours a week. Then there's times when things are booming and I'm like, I can do 20 hours a week and go on vacation and it's awesome. But I definitely think it's doable. I just think that it requires a lot of concentration, especially if you're your own boss, because sometimes my boss is a jerk because spoiler alert, it's me. And then sometimes she's employee of the month. It just depends. So I think you just have to be really committed.
So I think you definitely can go full time. I mean, also it comes down to where you live, because that's a big thing. Like if you lived in New York City, it's going to be very difficult to be a full-time reseller depending on what you're selling. But if you just lived out in the, out in the woods, it might be a little bit easier because your cost of living is very low. So, and that does play a big factor into it. But also too, just like Josh and Hayley were saying, that you need multiple streams of income. So if you sell online, selling on multiple platforms, selling eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, that's going to help increase your odds. But also too, look at local sourcing and local ways to sell merchandise. Maybe that you wholesale stuff out to other resellers. You know, I just took, I'm going to be doing a video on this. I took a bunch of stuff to a live auction. I was clearing out some old merchandise. I moved 120 something pieces of merchandise because they were just stale merchandise. I quick moved. I made a couple $100 from that, you know? So there's different ways to do that. You know, when you go full time, you have to be creative and you have to find different ways to make income and different ways to pay your bills. And it may not always be the same, but it is good making definitely connections in your area. And a lot of times with people that do have the best is they have multiple connections. And I'm not talking about a wholesaler. I'm just talking about other resellers in the area they network with and partner with, and they can send leads to each other. And there's different stuff that you can do. So.
Yeah. And I mean, it's definitely doable. You see a lot of us that are doing it, and we do have multiple streams of income, but I don't leave home to source 99% of the time. I buy on online auctions. It's not a private source. It's high bid. I will tell everybody where I buy, and it comes to my house. I live in the middle of nowhere. There is not a lot of local sourcing, but I made over $160,000 in eBay sales last year. My first year, 10 months of it, I was full-time last year. It was way more than I expected to make. So you definitely can do it, but I probably do work on average 60 hours a week at everything I'm doing. But I love what I'm doing, especially the sourcing part. That's definitely my favorite. I agree with Josh though, like me living in rural Florida, you know, in the middle of the woods, somebody in California would need to make 3 times. They would be like 160,000. Like I couldn't even pay my rent with that, you know? So it really depends on where you live and what you need. Some people would be fine on 30,000 a year. You know, if your house is paid off and you don't have a bunch of bills, it really depends on what you need to make. And I agree, definitely diversify and follow where the money, like if you're making the most money on eBay, put the most money into eBay. Right now we make the most money on Whatnot, so we put the most time into Whatnot. So it's kind of changed. Me and Rod say pivot all the time. You know, if you notice you're getting more Poshmark sales, pay more attention to Poshmark, but have those other ones because it changes. Whatnot could die for me tomorrow. My daughter's doing a show by herself, by the way, if you want to watch it. Hopefully it doesn't die because of that, but it could slow down. And I still have my eBay listings. I still have my eBay store. I still have Poshmark, Mercari. So definitely diversify. And if you're willing to put the work in, you can do it, whether that's 40 hours or 60. You know, it's not like, oh, let me work 20 hours. It's not, you could, if you could find all high dollar items, you could work 20 hours and make a very good income, but it depends on what you can find where you're at. Troy is making a very cheap announcement. He sent a $2 super chat to ask all of us if we believe in ghosts. If you do not know, Troy Mountain Man Treasure has a second channel hunting ghosts. He has a paranormal channel. So that's
I didn't know that. That's so interesting.
So Troy wants to know if we believe in ghosts.
I don't know.
Not a question you can check.
I never really know my answer to this question.
I definitely believe in spirits. Because like Hayley and I are Christians, so I'm like, I don't know if there's ghosts. I mean, there's the Holy Ghost. There's definitely like a spiritual realm. And like sometimes maybe you get glimpses of that. I mean, I've definitely seen some weird stuff in my life. But so yes, with an asterisk by it. Hayley, what do you think?
I mean, I just basically said the same thing.
Okay,
I never know how to answer that question. It's just, yes.
I've seen UFOs too. I'll throw that one in there for free. You don't have to pay for that one, Troy.
I'm a firm yes. So just so we're clear, I'm a firm yes. I totally see ghosts. I've seen ghosts since I was a little kid. I could tell you countless weird stories. Now I've got to find Mountain Man Treasure and find his paranormal channel because I'm totally into it. My mom watches like every episode of Ghost Hunters. So I'm really, really weirdly into ghosts, and it is a huge point of contention with me and my husband.
So I do believe in ghosts, especially the ex-girlfriend ghosts of Christmas Past. So they always they're the scariest ones. But now overall, I mean, I think there's got to be something. There are just too many unexplained activities and too many things. I actually took, believe it or not, when I went to college, I actually took a paranormal class. We were one of I went to Albright College in Reading, Pennsylvania for a little bit. I went there to play football and then ended up transferring out. But they were one of the 3 colleges in the entire country that actually offered a paranormal class. So we actually, our final project was we had to investigate a claim in the entire area and then go film it and go investigate it in the middle of the night. So we ended up finding one about a lady during 1800s, took her kids, her husband who was cheating on her, left her, and took her kids down by the river, told her kids to fill up their pockets of rocks, and got to the deep end and jumped in. And then the story was at night you could hear the kids playing and yelling by the river. So we went down there, we filmed all this, creepy as hell. But 2 o'clock in the morning doing that, but it was fun, good time.
Yeah, I think more like spirits. I think so. Our house is a 1942 farmhouse, and I swear I'll see like shadows, and because somebody like lived and died in my house. It's a very, very old house, but it's not creepy. It's not like, it's almost, look, he's adding $2 extra because he doesn't want to be cheap. Oh, me and Rod clicked at the same time. He doesn't want to be cheap. I'm just giving him a hard time. I love Troy. Troy, I would have promoted that for free, just FYI.
This is one of the haunted places in America right there. So I'm actually from Pennsylvania, and there's a lot of crazy, weird stories down there. So my uncle used to actually reenact, and he used to say all kind of weird stuff would happen when they would sleep overnight over the battlefield for a couple of days and do it. But
if you saw Dalton, he is under the desk. He was being crazy a little bit earlier, and I told him he has to be calm. So he has decided he's under the desk for the show. So he went and got a drink and went back under the. I'm not making him stay there. I just told him he had to be quiet. Laura says, I'm confused about international shipping. Do I always choose first class package international, or can I choose USPS first class mail international large envelope for an 8-ounce package?
Yeah, I mean, international shipping can be kind of confusing. I just kind of do whatever eBay says to do in the moment. And right now I think that's the eBay standard international shipping. And I believe that goes up to £4. The easiest way to do it, if you don't know about the whole eBay thing, you can just ship it through Pirate Ship. Set up a free Pirate Ship account. You can ship international. Again, I think it's limited to £4. I honestly don't know how to ship things over £4 internationally. If it's over £4, it's just not going internationally for us. But yeah, either eBay through whatever the new thing is, or through Pirate Ship. I don't think maybe you guys have more experience with this. I don't know if any regulations on like an 8-ounce or like some cutoff. Usually it's like a £4 is where anything under £4 is about the same cost.
I got nothing to add. I got nothing.
So, first off, there's no more first class, so it's gonna be ground advantage. So just keep that in mind.
That's true.
But if the easiest thing for you to do, if you're confused with it, just enroll in the eBay International Shipping Program, and then you don't have to worry about shipping things overseas. And Josh also too, you don't have to worry about stuff over £4 if you're enrolled in it, because eBay will they'll charge a buyer twice. They'll charge them for domestic shipping to one of their international warehouses here in the States, and then they'll charge the buyer a separate charge for the international shipping. So at that point in time, doesn't matter if the item's 4 ounces or 40 pounds, you can still ship it directly to them. They handle all the shipping charges for you. You don't have to worry about it. Once it hits their warehouse, it's in their hands. So if the item gets broken, gets stolen, anything happens with a package, gets stuck up in customs, you're protected. So I would say if you're really confused about it, just enroll with that, eliminate any issues or any mistakes, and just simplify your life.
I see you all saying hi to him, but he's got his headphones on and he's being calm. So I'll tell him when he pops up again instead of riling him up. I just do eBay's standard international program. I do want to point it out because somebody actually emailed me this past week and said there are a couple of countries in the EU Union that eBay has been unable to ship to. So you go to print the eBay standard international label and it won't print. So eBay said they would do it. They took the order and then it didn't print. And I asked her, can you ship it on Pirate Ship? And she said she could, but it was more than eBay had charged. So she would take a loss. And it was only like 1 or 2 countries. I don't know the countries. If it happened to anybody in chat, let us know. And she went and blocked those countries and ended up refunding her buyer. France and Germany have weird requirements, Troy's saying, so he's blocked them. So I guess they're doing a new contract. So, But it's weird because eBay's still allowing the buyers to buy. And then when you go print the label, it will not print it because they have like an internal block on it. So I have not ran into it. And she posted in, I think, eBay Thrifters on Facebook. And she said the majority of people that answered said they had not. So I think it's like a rare issue, and it might be a certain category even as well. It might be more specific, but just beware that could happen. I know what super chat Susan wants. And Troy, you can yell at me because I didn't give you anything if you want. Susan said she believes in ghosts and she likes the pillow fight super chat with Dalton and Brooke. So here you go.
Guys, just remember, Tiffany's a specialist when it comes to Poshmark Live. So if you guys have any questions, we never have anyone on here that does Poshmark Live. So now tonight's the chance to get your questions out.
Rod's telling you to, and I should ask you some questions about, I got approved and I haven't done any sales yet. Well, because of the List Perfectly event, all of us got the invite to Poshmark Live. And so I took it. And have you, I'm going to ask Tiffy a question since Rod said that. Have you watched any jewelry sellers on there? Because that's my main thing on Whatnot. Do you think like me going on there live with jewelry would be successful?
So here's the funniest thing. I do not sell jewelry and wish I did. In my opinion, jewelry, accessories, handbags, and things that are one size fit all are hands down the best thing you can do on Posh shows. I need to go get more into the jewelry world because I'm so not in it, but it is so successful. One of the gals I know, I'm dying behind you. I'm cracking up because it's like head just pops up and it makes me laugh so hard. He just makes me laugh, but jewelry flies because it's the one thing that fits everyone.
So on Poshmark, can you only pull from your closet or can I catalog just for a Posh Live?
I actually am one of the weird ones. I seldom actually use my listings from my Posh standard store. I actually do item number 1, item number 2, item number 3, and I don't even usually include pictures. I do pulls. I do a lot of Patzer runs. So it's a really big thing for me just to hold something up and be like, okay, what do you guys think? And they'll be like, run it, pass it. And I find that that's really successful for me. If you do a quick pick, like a single picture, and just throw it up with necklace, people will ask to see it. And it's really, really jewelry. One of the gals I know pivoted to just jewelry and she sells out almost every single show.
Okay. So you're not making I already have enough stuff to do any easier. So, okay.
Right on the list.
I'm going to try it. And like mine, we do one picture, A1, A2, A3. That's how we run on Whatnot. Okay. Julianne wants to know, when's your next live, Tiffypie?
I'm going to go live Thursday evening, 8:08 Central. So 9:08 Eastern. And God, going back, time zones are really hard because they moved recently. My mom's in Florida. I'm in Texas and I was in California for 35 years. So I'm like, it's a time. It's a day. I don't know. It's daylight or night. I don't know, but it'll be 8:08 Central on Thursday night.
Perfect. All right. Miss Diane wants to know, what is something about being a reseller that you really did not expect?
What do you think?
I don't know. You're supposed to go first.
I don't know. I feel like I've expected everything. I don't know. Sometimes I don't feel like thrifting, and I didn't think that would ever happen. I thought I would always be down to thrift, and sometimes I get tired of it.
That's a good answer.
I agree with that answer.
Yep.
I'm going to say I didn't expect the TikTok outbreak of last year, of the amount of people, especially young people, that were going to be very upset about resellers stealing from those in need. And I had a really hard internal struggle with that. So I actually spent the last couple of years volunteering at a thrift store so I could really spend time understanding the thrift store from the inside out. And just in case anybody in here has that idea, we at the thrift store donated hundreds of thousands of pounds annually of things that didn't sell. There, we were fortunate enough to have a textile manufacturer that would take it and turn it into blankets and things for the homeless and those in need. So when I tell you there's more than enough, like there's way too much. At one point at the thrift store,
Yeah, but Tiffany, that's the dumb stuff. People, that's the stuff you got to save the Patagonias and the Gucci and the Chanel. That's what the homeless people want.
Yes. Every homeless person that walked in asked me, they said, where do you keep the Gucci? And I was like, oh, well, let me show you the Gucci section of the thrift store.
$6.99. There you go.
Which, by the way, if anyone knows where that is, can they tell me? Because I've been looking for it myself. So
for me, I would say probably, I mean, I've been reselling since I was, a young teenager. So nothing really surprised me. Actually, I will say probably about 2 months ago, I was shocked of how much scumbags people can be with the reselling sometimes. And I would say people in general can suck. There's a lot of great people out there, don't get me wrong, but this the level that people will go to. I did a video, went to this like one of the best yard sales I went to all year long, and the people told me that leading up to the yard sale, people were reporting their Facebook posts because they had tons of video games out and stuff like that because they didn't want competition to get there, so they kept reporting their listings, and then Facebook was taking down their yard sale signs. And then they said that after the yard sale started, they later on that day when there was slowing down, they went to the store to pick something up. They came back and someone took their signs out and faced the opposite direction. So when people would come, they would go the opposite direction to that. So like that just took it to like an all new level. I mean, I know that there's a lot of competition out there and stuff like that, but just the fact of what people would do, I guess it blows my mind sometimes.
So for me, I would have never guessed a year ago now that Whatnot would be my main income and live selling would be my main income, because I still am really into eBay. I still love eBay, but like live selling overtook it, and I'm okay with that. But I did not expect what happened to happen. I'm happy with it, but I really did not. I didn't see it coming till I was in the middle of it, but I'm happy with it. Old Things New says, what is the most important thing to do on Posh to generate more sales? Do you think it's sharing, listing? What do you think it is?
Tiffany?
I concur. Let's all point at Tiffany.
Or that way. Or, yeah.
That way.
okay, so one of the things that somebody told me when I first started on eBay was they said, if you guys know Teresa Cox, I'm obsessed with her. She's amazing, but she said you got to feed the beast, and Posh is the same way. Consistency with listings and basically consistency across the board. If I find myself go too long without sharing or listing, so what I try and do is I batch list. I don't do 50 listings in a day. If I do 50 photos, I will try and space that out, do like 10 a day for 5 days, because I feel every time I do that, more and more sales roll in. And then sharing, you do have to share every day on Posh. I share 18 times a day in my closet, and that's the only way to stay at the top. The way that the algorithm with Poshmark works is that when you do a search, it auto populates to most recently shared. So if you want your item to be at the top, you have to be the most recently shared.
So I don't know if you can answer this question, but because I know you were under contract there with Posh at one point in time. Are you auto sharing? Or are you using external help if you can't answer, you can't answer that question, but
I cannot answer that question.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's a few things
Dalton is advertising for Crafty. That is his favorite YouTube
Dalton came
channel.
in right when
we have tons of merch.
Dalton came
Perfect
in
timing.
at like a clutch time.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, she's not going to answer this. Okay, enough Crafty. Go. I have to put this up here, and we haven't talked in a while, though I still feel she is one of my very, very closest friends. Tiffany Thrifting Vegas is only 200 subscribers away from 100,000, guys.
Wow.
200 away.
Yay.
We have
That's
381 of you here. Please, like if I could help Tiffany hit 100K, that would be absolutely amazing.
Go
We
subscribe.
will catch up. Tiffany, we will
mods-
catch up, but I love
What?
you.
Yeah, if one of the mods can post her link in the chat for us, then that
Yes,
way we can just have
please.
everyone in the chat just go follow her. That'd be awesome if we can get that done for her tonight, because she's been
200 people, guys. She's so close.
she's been
It'll
teetering.
definitely be $1.99 because I'm gonna follow as soon as this is done.
All right, so Mark just
Yes.
posted it. Mark just posted, guys. Go, please. There it is. Go and check it out.
So close. So close.
Are we close?
There's 3 people in my
No, we're
house.
we're
so
not
we get
close,
3
buddy.
for
We're
sure.
not close. We got a little ways. Mountain Man Treasure Troy says, you guys have all broken the code for YouTube growth and success. So spill, how do you break through and finally get that big growth?
Yeah, I mean that's the question, right? That's what everybody wants to know.
Mhm.
And if it was just like, here's what you do, everybody would just do it and everybody would break through and get big growth, right? It's just not that simple. For instance, on our last video we posted, we were averaging like, I don't know, like 70 to 80,000 views a video. And then the last video just randomly got a bunch of traffic, like 40 or 50,000 extra views from some external source. I have no idea what that is. And YouTube's like, I don't know, just whatever you did is working. I'm like, can you tell me? Can you even tell me what the source is?
Yeah.
And they're like, nope, it's just something's out there. I'm like, okay, well, that's helpful. So I don't know. I mean, I think having a good personality is important. Like Tiffany Thrifting Vegas, her personality is really good. Her voice is really good on camera. She does her fancy B-rolls with, I found this darling glass deer for 99 cents and I'm going to grab it, shove it in our cart. Who doesn't want to listen to that all day? So yeah, just find your thing that works for you, something that other people aren't doing. I think the biggest thing with resellers is like, so many people just try to like copy other people. Like, oh, it works for Froggy Flips. I'm gonna just do the same thing Froggy Flips is doing. I'm like, well, if everybody does that, then it's, you're not special anymore. So find something that makes you special, something that people latch onto, and then just try to grow from there.
Yeah, a lot of YouTube is about value and about entertaining. And so a lot of people in the beginning, like they feel like they have to give like some sort of value. Like if someone's going to click on your video, there has to be like some sort of value for them, whether it's entertainment, whether it's knowledge, whether it's whatever. And then at a certain point, it really needs to be like, how do I entertain my certain audience that's going to be watching you? Because you have to realize too, not everybody is going to watch your video. And it doesn't matter who you are, unless you're Mr. Beast. There's just going to be a lot of people that just like don't like you. And you have to be okay with that. And that's a hard thing, right? Like people not liking you.
Why would anybody not like us? I don't understand.
Well, how about this? 'Cause
We're so nice.
you guys have been very successful. So how about, what's the biggest mistake you see other resellers doing on YouTube in our community? I think that might help people more than trying to break the code, because if they can stop some of these big mistakes, that could be very beneficial as well.
Yeah. Probably just a lack of planning for videos. I think a lot of resellers just kind of like record stuff and just like throw it together and see what happens. Like, I'd say if you're, I don't know, like, I think there's still people that are filming like bins haul videos where it's just like them in their living room, like showing what they got at the bins that day. And that video format worked like 5 years ago, but right now it's just not going to get very many views. So just like we took a YouTube course recently where like a really helpful thing was like, just search what your topic is, like figure out what your topics that you want people to find you via searching on YouTube. So if you want to have Poshmark videos, just like open a new tab in incognito and just search like Poshmark seller how to YouTube tutorial and see what videos are popping up automatically. And like, okay, well, that Poshmark video has 600,000 views from a month ago. So what did that person do? What is that person doing right? What do their thumbnails look like? What do do they have a good personality? What is the information, So I don't know, just like a lack of planning, just like throwing videos together without, the title would be like, we found so much stuff to sell at Goodwill today, buying things to sell on eBay 2023. I'm like, that's a terrible title. It's just because everybody has that title. Everybody had like just trying something new that nobody's done before, which I get it. It's hard to do. And also thumbnails.
Yeah,
people
I was
are
gonna
really
say a lot of YouTube is just titles and thumbnails, and a
Probably
lot
like-
of people don't realize that.
Yeah. Like
'Cause
80 to
that's
85% of the
click,
video's
right?
success is title and thumbnail.
Right. Like when you're scrolling through Netflix, you're looking at those little thumbnails
Mhm.
and you want to like something grabs your attention, like, let's see if I want to watch that. Like it's the same thing on YouTube. And I think people don't really realize that.
Yeah.
So if your thumbnail's really like weird and it doesn't really make sense, or it's like blurry, or if it's just like there's a lot that really like goes into it and people like don't understand that.
And I think people also think a good thumbnail is just one with a bunch of stuff on it. Like I'll see so many thumbnails that people are like that. And then there's like an eBay logo and a Goodwill logo. And for some reason, people love putting the title of the video on the thumbnail as well. So the title is, "We bought so much stuff at Goodwill to sell on eBay 2023 reselling." And then they'll put all that text on the screen as well on the thumbnail. I'm like, it just looks like a jumbled mess. So the title and the thumbnail should be like cohesive and working together and complementary to each other. You don't have to be redundant in, like, your audience isn't stupid. They can see the title and they can see the thumbnail. So having those work together to get people to click is key.
Yeah. Yeah, I broke through because I accidentally got a couple of viral videos. That's how where I'm at. But I think following it, so my virals were research videos, and to this day they are my highest viewed videos. So I think paying attention to what your audience likes and what you can, like what you like to do, and pair it with what the audience likes. I haven't given up my what sold. They're like I built my channel on that. So it's super hard. But like I still get okay views, but by far my research videos have turned into what has grown my channel the most. By far, and I love doing them. And the crazy thing is I don't have sales. I don't have to have sales to make the research videos. I search other people's sales and I learn while I'm sharing it. So I'm definitely providing value and like letting you know, here's what you can go look for if you're looking for, like, scarves was the one from last week and this week. Teacups, and people post like, I watched your video. I just bought this teacup for $6 and it sold for $180. So that's value. Like they just made $150 because they watched a research video. So I'm heavy on education. I'm not big on entertainment and editing, but it's what works for me. So you have to figure out like what works for you. And I think everybody tends to copy somebody when they're first starting out, but at some point you have to be you and you have to set yourself aside from everybody that's copying everybody else, right? Like you can see it. You can see like who, and I haven't had a lot of time to watch, but you can see like who's copying who. Like you're like, oh, they're watching Kevin. Look at him in their shed with it. Like, you know, you can see, and which is fine to get started and get your footing, but then you got to grow into your own, I guess, and like start being yourself. And
and authenticity is key. And if people see that, if people know that you're not being authentically you, they're automatically not going to watch. And you said that you have like pop-off videos that are like research based, but then people stay because they enjoy you and they enjoy your personality and what you give them to your other videos.
Yeah.
Beachwalker 22 says, I personally don't watch videos if the thumbnail is negative. But I will say negativity generally does lead to a lot of views. I remember Lonnie.
The drama, I don't get mad often, guys, but when I do, you all click it. If I put I'm pissed off or I lied.
As well. I found Lonnie when he made the video about his storage unit being broken into. And then like, I don't know, that one random girl on TikTok made her video about like catching hand, foot, and mouth disease at the bins. Yeah. And that like went viral. So like negative, somebody's like, what are you gonna do if your house burns down? I'm like, I'll probably make a YouTube video about it. Because at least we'll make some money.
Pay for the house with the YouTube.
Pay for the house.
It's so funny that she said that, because my thumbnail today, and it's actually my performing number one, is it's a guy, I'm leaning over a table and the guy calls me an a-hole, you know, at the garage sale. And the title was like, this got interesting here. But the biggest thing is I think the biggest thing a lot of YouTubers don't do is tell a story. You know what I mean? Like Josh, you guys do a great job telling your story. Like they have, if you guys go watch their videos, they have one where they're trying to flip the $20 into repair this house. So you guys want to come back and keep watching and watching, because they're telling the story about this journey along the way, where a lot of people just go out and they say, oh, this is what I found at a yard sale, No, your focus is when you go out at a yard sale is what is the main story of that day, you know, and then focus your video around that. Build your thumbnail, build your title, create curiosity to lead up to that moment, because people want a payoff. You know, if you have no payoff in that video, there you can watch your retention drop down, everything else. So I always say the biggest thing is try to increase your video every time by 1%, but also ask yourself the question, does it create curiosity? Is this something that I would stop what I'm doing to watch, to click on that video?
Yeah.
Yes.
Teacups.
Yep.
Teacups. Just make teacup
Teacups.
videos. That's my tip.
Teacup videos, quitting videos. I quit.
Oh yeah, if you get kicked off, if you get banned, I'm in eBay
Banned.
jail.
Yep.
One time I got banned
those
from
are-
Facebook Marketplace for like 60 days. And
Wait,
I was like, I
that's
should make a video about
possible?
this.
I
Yeah.
am banned for life from Facebook Marketplace.
Uh-oh.
And that video did very well.
Yeah.
It
But I
had
didn't
it
title the video
highlighted
banned
in
from
the
Facebook
thumbnail.
Marketplace. The title was like, I think the title was like, I don't what should I do next? ... And the thumbnail was like banned for 60 days. And there was like, oh, what's going on? Is it banned from eBay? It's Facebook Marketplace. I was selling like 5 things a month. It was no big deal. But if I made a video called banned from Facebook Marketplace, who cares? I sell 5 things a month. It's not a big deal.
They
But
had to click.
They had to find
don't
out.
give away the cookie in the thumbnail and title. Get people hungry for it.
Yeah,
Give 'em
and
a taste.
Tiffany says in the chat, I do think it's important to solve the problem that you alluded to in the thumbnail and make sure you leave the viewer with an overall positive feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to put this up here because I have to give some credit where credit is due. So the whole research video, the research thing, Courtney over at Bolo Buddies is like the original researcher doing things. She did a lot of bread and butter. I tend to do like the higher dollar. So if you don't follow Courtney at Bolo Buddies, she's the original that I saw doing category specific. I just kind of do it my own way. So I think a lot of time, like Josh was saying, like you see that video with 600K views, like how can you put your spin on it, right? And make it your own. And so I am definitely not by far the first person to do that. I just do it my own way. So Miss Jessica sent a $5 super chat and said, hi, everyone. Zena and I did sourcing at a local Comic-Con this weekend. What are some non-typical places you have found inventory? That's a fun question.
Non-typical places. I don't know.
I can't think of anything because really, like, our reselling is about YouTube, to be frank. Like, we do
Yeah.
what makes good videos. So
I
I'm
don't know.
trying
We
to
did go to
think.
that abandoned house that one time, and we got a couple cool things from there, but I don't think we sold any of it on eBay.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's like super non-typical.
I don't know. We're pretty typical in our reselling.
Flea market bins.
Flea market and bins.
I don't think it's non-typical, but I think a lot of family and friends. I think a lot of people are afraid to tell. Okay, I'm going to steal somebody's story. The craziest thing I heard was my girlfriend who resells went into her dentist and was explaining to her dentist what they do. The next day, the dentist called her and was like, hey, I have a trunk full of inventory for you for free that I was going to drop at Goodwill. And it was like $20,000 worth of designer clothing. So I think
Wow.
that's not non-typical in the sense of like, although I will say I got to disagree with Hayley on, I do think the abandoned house is not typical. But I think it's just telling people what you do. Like I told everybody on Nextdoor in my neighborhood when I was laid off after COVID, I was like, hey, I just got laid off and I'm going to go full-time reselling. If you want to donate stuff to me, I'm going to cherry pick. I'm going to sell. I was very transparent. I'm a reseller and I'm going to donate the rest to people in need in the community. I probably had 20 bags a week on my porch.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to think outside the box on this one. So I would say going to like Comic-Cons or shows, but not specifically. Like if you go to a toy show, don't go there to buy toys because toy shows will bring other items. They'll bring video games or comic books. And I've done very well going to certain shows and buy items that weren't associated with that show, but they still kind of fit in that same category because people are going there looking for that specific thing at the show that the show was focused on. But I would say charity auctions, that's actually one I've actually sourced that before because you can get stuff cheap and you're helping out a good cause. So I've done that. But yeah, I think that would be it.
Somebody said I love to dumpster dive. I've been dumpster diving like 3 times and I'm like too out of shape to get in and out. So I have to convince a skinny friend to come with me and get in and out. which I did twice. My sister-in-law and a nurse I worked with got in the dumpster for me. So I was like the scouter and they got in. But anyways, the most atypical place for me, and I don't think this is atypical for most resellers, is a pawn shop, because like the video game things. But I found a dish set that was worth $3,500 in a pawn shop. Dishes.
And they will negotiate too, because it's not something they normally
did.
have.
They went down by $100 on the set of dishes because they'd had them so long. And I don't think that's like their typical thing they take in. But I'm like, I went in, I don't even know. Oh, the thrift store next door was closed. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to go in the pawn shop. That's how I ended up in there, because it was the same shopping plaza. And I also found a Steuben strawberry in their jewelry case for $50 that I sold for $450. So this pawn shop knew the value of the gold, but they didn't know the value of the name brand. And I knew it was worth money.
So Kat, obviously I know what a Steuben strawberry is, but for those people who have no idea what a Steuben strawberry is, why don't you go ahead and just tell us about that?
It's like, so it's a little strawberry pendant that has a little bit of 14 karat gold on top. And then it's just a white crystal strawberry. The way you know it's Steuben is a tiny little S on the bottom of the strawberry. Okay. And I used my friend Google Lens, like it caught my eye. You know, I was like, that thing looks expensive. And I was like, how much? He's like, $50. And I like snapped Google Lens while I had it in my hand out of the case. And it came up and I was like, oh, okay, I'll take it. I probably could have talked him down too. So I didn't know. It caught my eye. Like it's gold with crystal, you know, and it was just like a little 1-inch pendant worth $450. Hi, Rachel. And I think that could happen a lot at pawn shops, is they're valuing the gold or the silver and they don't look at the name or the designers. And like some sterling silver stuff can be worth thousands of dollars if you find the right piece. So I think pawn shops might be a hidden for different categories. I know people go there for certain categories already, but I don't know how many.
The off the wall stuff. I used to source a lot, and you get that. I just thought of another good one too. Is I used to dump. I mean, if you live in like a community, or if you live in an area where you get a lot of houses in there, garbage day. Drive around your neighborhood on garbage day. You'll see a ton of good stuff out there. But also too is when there's community sales. If there's a community sale in that community, come back later in that evening and drive around the neighborhood. So many times, so many people put what they have left over. They'll put it on the street and to just get rid of it. And I have found like bikes and exercise equipment that you can just take right to Play It Again Sports and just drop it right off, and get money there. There's a lot of good stuff. You can pick up a lot of good furniture to flip because people just put it out and they'll put free after the yard sale and then drive through the neighborhood after that community sales.
Why have I not ever thought of that?
Yep.
Like, I don't even need to go to the sales like when they're happening. Yeah. I'll just go drive around
after
like Saturday night and Sunday night. Okay. I'm going to give a team dolphin to Jessica and Reincarnated Treasures, who's in a $10 super chat. So let's do this. Oh, he has his headphones on. He won't hear it. I'm still going to do it. Here is your dog. Okay. He can hear everything I'm saying. All right, here we go. He got up like 2 seconds too late. Okay, I'll play it one more time. Here you go. All right, one more time.
I got it. Oh. You this kid.
I like that.
And we got another $10 super chat, so I like pre-sensed it. LK Vintage said, just wanted to say thank you to Kat, my flippin' fairy godmother, and all of you for sharing your experience and knowledge. You're welcome. We are all here because we like doing it, and thank you so much for the super chat. I greatly appreciate it. What do we have? Okay. Remember, we're in a different place. That's what he just said. Because he took his first. And actually, where'd this question go? I'm going to go ahead and answer this. We did go on the airplane. How did he like the plane ride? It was so funny. He was sitting in the middle, I was by the window, and when we took off, he said, "Whoa!" Like it was a ride. He wasn't scared, but he was so loud. Like everybody around us was like looking at him. I'm like, it's his first time. I'm like, Dalton. And so it's funny because the people all around us were like looking at him and checking on him the whole flight, like making sure he was okay when I was like, oh, it's his first flight. So it was kind of cool, but he did great. Even on a bumpy landing, he did amazing. He liked it. It was only a 2-hour flight, so it wasn't very long, luckily for his first one, but he did great in the airport. That was my concern, was like all the walking, but he did. And he had a lot of firsts today. We had to ride a bus from the shuttle place, the park, and like they take you. He'd never ridden a bus, so that was like a ride for him. And then the tram, the monorail at the airport, he'd never been. Like he's probably had stimulation overload today, and he has rolled with it beautifully. All right. Summertime Vintage says, I have 2 identical fairy lights. There are no others online for sale. I plan on listing at $150 each. Would you wait until one sold to list the other, or do you do 2 listings at the same time? So I don't think it matters what the item is. If you have a rare item, you have 2 of them. Do you list them both, or do you list one and wait for it to sell?
Yeah, I don't know what a fairy light is, but it depends on if they generally sell in pairs or individually.
Normally.
Individually, yeah. So I just list one at a time. That way you don't flood the market and you can kind of control the price.
Exact question I was going to ask is, do they normally sell in pairs? Because if anything you have sells in pairs, definitely list them together. If they are individual items, definitely do not. If it's rare and you're one of the only people in the marketplace that has it, do not flood. Don't compete with yourself.
Yeah, same thing they said, but I would also add too is I would actually list it higher than what they're normally going for, maybe with a buy it now on, with a best offer on it as well. Just for the fact is, if you're controlling the market, if someone really wants that and you're the only one on there, you control the market. So they may pay extra money to have that item because it's the only one available.
Yeah, I would list one. And a classic example, my good friend Flippin' Fiasco, DLJ in PA, had 2 pink puppy dog Build-A-Bears worth over $1,000. She listed one. It sold for $700. Yes, she paid $4 at a yard sale. She found 2 of them. The first one auctioned for $700. She started, whoop, whoop, 98 more people. Go subscribe to Thrifting Vegas.
Yes, please subscribe. She's awesome.
I love Tiffany. And then she listed the second one like immediately after the first auction ended, and it went to $1,200. Both paid, both shipped, both good feedback. So it is legit. So I would list one at a time. I'm going to answer this.
What if you have 2 of them and they're the only one? You list one for like $5,000 and then the other one for like $250. And then the person's like, wow, this $250 one is a really good deal. I better scoop this up. Then they buy it. And then you immediately drop the other one down to $250. And then instead of getting $150 each, you get $250 each. And the first person feels like they got a steal.
That's like deeper thinking into this.
I was like, my mind is blown.
Because think if you're like in the market for something and there's one for $5,000 and another one for $250, you're like, man,
this is like this whole Beanie Baby thing.
Yeah, it's money laundering. That's what it is.
Totally
People don't even know what money laundering is.
I don't know. I honestly used to think money laundering is when you like
washed money.
You like washed money, like you would take like one.
Well, you are washing it.
You would take like $1 bills and wash it off the ink and print like 20 on it. I thought that was wondering.
Yeah.
At what age did you figure out that wasn't it? Was it recent or?
He was.
I was today years old.
Yeah, he was
today. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to answer this. Liz said she's seeing posts for me on Facebook every day now. You could thank Rod for that because he convinced me I needed to get enough watch time and followers on Facebook. So what you're seeing are very old videos for me. A lot of them are like a year or 2 years old. I'm trying to grow an audience over on Facebook, which I've done. I'm getting ready to check my time. I might have hit what I was hoping to hit. And I have 1,000 video library here on YouTube. So I actually could put out a video a day for 3 years on Facebook without ever making another one. So they are a lot of recycled ones. So if you haven't been watching me long, they are new to you. A lot of them are older videos. And so I'm just trying to grow an audience over there. I am only, you said if I'm banned, I'm only banned from Facebook Marketplace. I cannot sell. I'm not banned from Facebook. Only from selling on Marketplace because of vintage license plates. If anybody missed that story, that was the only reason. So I'm not banned from Facebook at all, just from the Marketplace. All right. Cindy wants to know, do you ever struggle with motivation to list? And if so, how do you overcome that?
Cindy, Hayley and I have never struggled with it. When we actually jump out of bed every morning, 4 a.m., and we immediately list 50 things. And it's great. We have a perfect life. We never argue. We know what's for dinner every night. We never talk about that.
Yeah.
It just happens. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No.
I don't know. It depends on how bad you need money, right? If you need money, you better list stuff. If you don't list anything, you're not going to make any money. Money and income and food and taking care of your family, and that should be a pretty big motivation.
Apparently we need food. I have to say, when you said we jump up, all I'm thinking of is Dolly Parton bursting out of bed with her cup of ambition. And I think I wake up every morning and it is like, there is no rise, there's no joy, there is no nothing for like 2 hours until I wake up in the morning. But yes, I struggle with it all the time. And then I tell myself, literally, no worky, no money. And then you just have to keep doing it. And I will tell you this.
I like that. I'm going to put that on a t-shirt. No worky, no money.
I will tell you one big thing for me with my shout out for Posh Lives. And actually right before this, I was telling my husband how I'm like, I think I'm going to slow down on doing lives. Then I remember when I really don't want to list, I do a pop-up live, and that will get me a way to turn and burn. I don't sell hundreds of items. I have like 107 YouTube people, by the way. So I'm just really, I don't know why no one asked me how to grow their YouTube account, but that's okay. I'll make peace with this. But I will say to myself, okay, I don't want to sit and be on my phone. So I'm just going to throw the camera on. I'm going to talk to people. I'm going to have a good time. And I'm going to see if I can just sell some stuff that way. And that's sort of how I overcome that listing monotony.
Yeah. So when I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence. So I don't know. But no, it's just like everyone else, man. You just got to you have to do things to trick yourself. I mean, if you list at your home, go to the coffee shop, go to the park, stuff like that. Something that me and Kat actually talked about on the last show that we're actually going to announce that we're going to do for everyone in the chat here too is so give you a little backstory. The best fourth quarter I've ever had on eBay was because I busted my butt in August listing as much stuff as possible because you're preparing for that fourth quarter push. So what we're going to start doing for each week, when everyone in the chat check in, I want to hear your listing goals for August, and each week we'll be each other's buddies in here and let us know, each week, are you on pace? So for me, I plan on listing 500 items and $15,000 of minimum merchandise. That's what I'm going to shoot for the month of August. I do have like 4 or 5 days. I'll be going to FlipCon and some other stuff, and we need to talk about that too now.
Yeah, I have a question about it, and I'll pop it up.
Do that next.
I have a question.
But yeah, everyone in the chat, let us know what is your goal for August. Let's all get on this train together so we can push for fourth quarter. And that's going to be a motivation enough because now each week you come here, everyone's checking in. If you're slacking, you got to put yourself on blast.
So I forgot to do that. That's why I was hiding, because Rod told me I was supposed to do that. So I'm going to come up with this totally on the fly and be realistic with eBay and say, for me, 100 items listed worth $10,000. So I moved my head. If you see right there, that is a bag of all high dollar jewelry. I was waiting for security to like ask me because that's literally filled with like a bunch of sterling. And that's probably 40 things that I plan on listing while I'm here in DC. I'm just going to extend the handling time. So I can take it here and I'm going to list it like probably 5 a day. But I think for me, a realistic goal is 3 a day through the month, because a lot of times I'm not going to be able to, because we sell 500 items a week on Whatnot. So that takes precedence over it. And then I need to do one Poshmark jewelry live, one. So I think we can say more than just listing goals. I think it's good to set goals and hold yourself accountable for sure. And when you tell people, so you guys need to we need to make buddies is what we need to do, is make buddies. And somebody pick a person and then next week ask that person, did you list 20 items last week? And ask them. Hip Hop Thrifter says 5 to 10 a day is good. So I used to do 20 to 40 a day, guys. Your goals are going to change depending on what you've got going on. And I also like the idea of a dollar amount versus an item amount. So I'm trying to decrease my eBay store, and we've decreased our store by over 100 listings in the last month, and our sales are up by 45%. Thanks to a $3,000 sale yesterday on eBay that you will see in my video Thursday. It matched my top highest sale. So now I've had 2 $3,000 sales on eBay. And I'm in DC and my husband has to ship it. And hopefully he's not watching. He's listening. Dalton's in the bathroom. That's Dalton's studio. He's talking to Daddy in the bathroom. But yeah, so it sold the day before I left, and it is a very large item, but we're going to try and get it freight, but I'll show you guys on Thursday what it is. Look, see, yeah, ask people. All right. I'm going to give April her dolphin. Thank you so much. $1.49 super chat. And then I have a question. Rod, will you find that question and pop it up about FlipCon?
Yep.
And we'll throw that up next. All right. Here is the original super chat.
Super chat.
I don't know if this is the one. Is there more than one?
Yeah. Hold on. I'll find
that one then. So we'll start with this one here. Well, Josh, Josh and Hayley, why don't you guys tell us what FlipCon is? And because we have people to ask every week if there's tickets available, what's going to be happening there, who's going to be there.
Take it away.
We have 26 tickets left, so don't wait. Also, the hotel is sold out. So if you buy a ticket, there's a hotel nearby. I don't know if it's within walking distance. It's you could walk, but there's an interstate, and I don't think you can cross the interstate. So, but we'll work it out. But yeah, FlipCon in-person reseller networking event hosted by my beautiful wife,
Reseller
Hayley.
And YouTube.
Reseller and YouTube. Yeah. It's 70% reselling content, 30% social media growth and other. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Charlotte, North Carolina, August 9th through the 12th, technically.
Yeah.
Just depends on how early you go to bed on the 11th.
Rod's coming.
I'm going to be there.
Coco and Chewy are coming. Rachel Strickland is coming.
Rachel's speaking.
Shagan, I don't know. Are you coming?
Is Shagan in the chat?
I hope you're coming.
That's Shagan. That's who asked the question.
Yeah.
Hey, Shagan.
I'm a reseller.
Who else is speaking? Who else is going to be speaking?
So Hayley and I are going to be speaking. Phoenix Resale, Retro Rick,
Becky Park
on Poshmark.
Flip the World.
I love Becky Park.
Yeah, Becky's awesome. It's really interesting. So Becky's at a point where she's making more money just with her List Perfectly referrals than she is with her teaching job and all that stuff. So she doesn't have to work, but she just is choosing not to pursue reselling full time. And then we have Dave, ADH Dave, who actually just quit a 6-figure job to pursue reselling. So we have one panel with both of them on stage talking about what's it like to be on either side of that line? Because a lot of people want to quit their job, or maybe they don't want to quit their job. So Becky can tell you how to be successful without quitting your day job. And Dave can tell you what you have to do to get in line to quit your day job, So I'm really excited about that panel. My friend Tiffany Ghetto Gazella is going to be joining me on a talk about debt freedom, how important it is to get out of debt, and how easy it is to run a business if you don't have debt. Oh my gosh. I don't understand how these people have multi-million-dollar businesses, but tens of millions of dollars in debt. I'm I would not be able to sleep at night.
Yeah.
If the worst thing that happens is our warehouse burns down and we have to go thrift all this stuff again. Oh no, boo-hoo.
Yeah.
Oh, so that would be a great YouTube series. We lost everything. Let's replenishing our death pile. But yeah, FlipCon's gonna be great. It's gonna be a lot of.
Rod, I don't see the other question.
So is there gonna be Frisbee golf tournament there?
Frisbee golf tournament? I don't know. We have one free night. I actually called Goodwill. There's a Goodwill bins 4 or 5 minutes from the hotel. It's not a very good one, But I called them and asked to, and left a message with their marketing person because I wanted to see if we could like rent out they close at 9. I was like, can we just rent out like 1 hour that Thursday night, like 8 to 9? You just close it to the public, roll out 2 more aisles worth of stuff, and just let us pick through it. But she did not call me back yet. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that night's open. You can play Frisbee golf if you want. There's going to be board games. Somebody said they're going to have a scavenger hunt. This one lady said she's bringing her 3 dogs. And I said, that's a lot of dogs. And she said, they're only like a total of 40 pounds. I'm like, okay. Sounds great. Sounds great. So we're going to have dogs. There's going to be at least 3 dogs there.
How's the best should someone prepare then for FlipCon? Like, what would your recommendation?
Oh, yeah, there was a question about preparing.
Yeah, that's the question on the screen. So yeah, just be prepared to network. We know that the real value in the event is not necessarily the speakers, although they will bring valuable information, but just be like willing and able to like talk with everybody and learn about other people's businesses and talk about your own business.
Yeah. It's going to go by very quickly. So just like take advantage of all the free time and the breakout sessions. And, you know, we had a couple people that were like going up to the room to go to bed on the last night at like 7:30. They just ate and left. I'm like, you guys are missing out on the best part. There's a reason that like virtual tickets to events are not very much money. They're usually like $50 because if it was just about the speakers, those virtual tickets would cost the same amount of money. But the networking is key, like Hayley was saying.
Makes sense.
So where can they?
Oh, go ahead.
If they want to buy tickets, where can they get their tickets at?
Flipcon.net.
There you go.
Flipcon.net.
Which, by the way, Hayley made the website herself.
What?
Oh.
So if you guys need a
Hayley, are
website,
you for hot air?
No, I'm not. It took me a very, very long time. Lots of YouTube videos.
it's funny. She wouldn't make you a website if you paid her because that was way too.
We're doing FlipCon again. It's just been a lot of work, but we're going all out this year. So,
we're going to do our very best to make $0 in profit.
basically.
If we have any money left over at the end of the event, we're just going to give it out. Here you go. Here's
We
take
like
it.
the money machine. You know, the money guns.
Yeah,
Oh, the money gun, yeah,
Guns
with
and
dollars.
stuff.
Just rent one of those big things that have people going for 10 seconds. Just grab all the
Oh,
bills.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
that would
yeah.
be fun.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Miss Lisa sent a $5 super chat and said, when I sell one thing, I sell 1 or 2 more within the hour, then nothing for several days. This can't be normal. It's like eBay turns my store on and off. What are your thoughts on this?
I usually see that on like after a big sales weekend, like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we'll do like $2,500, $3,000 in sales, whatever. Then like Monday morning, nothing. Like we won't sell anything Monday, and probably even nothing on Tuesday. Even though we listed a bunch of stuff, it'll just all sell over the weekend and then nothing. So I don't know, just keep listing. Like I performed CPR on our eBay store last week, a week and a half ago. I listed 100 things over the course of 4 days. And wouldn't you know it, we sold like 130 things in those 4 days. Like
You're net negative.
Net negative, yeah. I mean, because that shit, it's like you list all this new stuff and like 60 or 70 of the new items sold because they were good items. But then also like people were in our store, a lot of viewer sales, honestly. And people were buying like some of our old stuff, like bundling it together. And then I got tired and then I haven't listed anything since then. But if you list 100 things in 4 days, I promise you'll sell something. As long as you're not
made a
listing
video proving it too. You guys go watch that video.
It.
It's a good video.
Now Josh needs CPR from his eBay CPR.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My nerdy husband would be disappointed to me if I didn't bring up Beachwalker 22. It's a lot to do with algorithms and the way that those algorithms drive traffic to your site. And I know it seems crazy and it feels like it's on and off, but it's really not. It's just this weird, bizarre way that the internet works. And I am not nerdy enough to explain it to you, but I know I know that it does work, and the algorithm is weird. And if there's any Poshmarkers in the chat, you know, the algorithm is the thing at Poshmark. They're like, they changed the algorithm again, where none of us are going to ever make money, and it's all going to implode. So it's a really big part of it. And they keep over the last 12 months, Poshmark in particular has modified their algorithm substantially. And there's a lot that goes with it. And so I think that's a big part to do with it. And that's why you'll see when you sell one thing, more things are going to trickle down. And I think what Josh just said about how then it draws people to the store. And yes, the new thing is really cool, but then they're like, okay, wait, I also need this other thing that I didn't know I needed. And I think that happens a lot as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, every time the algorithm does change, it has to relearn. So that's why you see these little dips and go through there. But I mean, that's just part of life. You have to, do that. But I always tell people the most important thing is anytime you search items on eBay, there's people search. They're going to search by what's ending that day or what's newly listed to try to find items that are underpriced, the quick buy, that quick item. So if you're listing every day, you're going to have items ending that day and newly listed items. So people are going to be searching both of those. Now that doesn't always help, but at the same point in time, is there's other stuff you can do too. Is throw an auction in there every once in a while, because I will tell you that does help. I've seen like a boost in my sales when if I just throw a random auction, just try to clear out some merchandise, don't care what it goes for, and it gets more people, gets more traffic to my store. But I mean, you just got to keep pushing. There's a reason why, and I said this last week too, is there's a reason why they call it Black Friday, because even retail stores for the longest time, they will run in a deficit some months, and because they're waiting for that fourth quarter to hit. And when that, the reason they call it Black Friday is that's when they go in the positive. They make all the money at the end of the year. I had a buddy that family used to own a Mr. Dunderbox in a mall. And they said that what dictated if they're going to be there next year is how they did in the fourth quarter, leading up to that Black Friday. So, it's not just us. That's major retailers go through that same problem. So you just got to keep listening, preparing. That's why we're talking about doing this, try to list as much stuff in August, because when all those people are there, you're already ahead of the game. Where people are getting started in October, November listing because of the holidays, you're already 2 months ahead of them. So
yeah, I think a sale probably gives all of your items a little boost in the algorithm, because eBay's like, oh, somebody bought one of their things. So I tell people all the time, and I do this myself, if I'm not having a good sales day, I'm more likely to accept a lower offer just to hopefully kick that algorithm in and get more sales. And I think I would ask to, and there's a lot more going into it, like what you're listing, how many you're listing. And I don't have nothing for several days, but I have over 5,000 listed. There would be something seriously wrong if I had a 0 day. I would cry. But I do have a lot of lower days, and the ending and selling similar has been helping, but I was crazy and did them all. And then I'm like, wait, I should only do it like every few months. So now I'm not doing it every day because I don't have any, because the first month I ended all my listings and sold similar. And I'm like, I don't want to do that every month, because then I'll lose all the watchers. But yeah, I would just like, if you keep pushing through, it should average out for what you're putting into it. You might have some crappy days. Like I told Brad, it's so funny. Like, we have this $3,000 sale, and now a $500 sales day looks like this. Yeah. And I'm like, now my friggin' graph is messed up for the next 30 days. Like, I'm going to have $500 and think I had like 50. So it's a great problem to have, but like now I can't see like my little lines because there's this $3,700 day in the middle. Everything.
My heart's just breaking for you.
Horrible.
Like it's honestly like, how will you go on?
Listen, first world problems, all right? First world problems.
But it was listed at 5,900, guys. I accepted 50% on that.
You just gave it away.
I gave it away. But I only had 500 in it, and I stepped back and said, is it my pride of not wanting to take 50% off? And that is what it was worth. But how many people want a $5,000 painting? Not many. I have somebody sitting here offering me $3,000. I'm $500 in. We're going to take it. And that's getting over like self-pride. A lot of people lose sales because of that. Like, think about what you have into an item. All right, I'm going to quit talking and give Beach Walker the beach super chat. Here you go.
I dance each time you do one.
I know. I should have. He's still awake. I was expecting to turn around. He's so quiet right now. Oh, Rod just said, forget it. I don't like the beach. I'm leaving. He's had a very long day. We woke up at 5 a.m. today to get to the airport. He did take like a 15-minute cat nap. He hears me talking about him. Here he comes. Let me see.
He didn't leave.
Oh, thank you for laughing because he left. Goodbye. Oh, this kid. Okay. Shh. No, I was not trying to do that. Get you hyped up. Miss Kelly wants to know, Hayley, what did you do in the Honduras, and was it fun?
Oh, I could talk about this for a while. I'll just be brief though. So I've been. No, don't put me on the spotlight.
I could make her big.
No. Okay. So this was actually my 11th year going to Honduras. So it's much more than just like your typical like short-term mission trip. Although we do go and we mostly build houses, we give away food. So we make these like bags of like beans and rice and spaghetti sauce and coffee and all that kind of stuff, and like hand it to individual houses. We've done clothing drives, we've done all sorts of stuff, but we go to the same area every year. Our church actually sponsors a feeding center and a daycare there, although the daycare is not operational right now, but like 200 kids get fed breakfast and lunch every day. And so we're just like really being able to like pour into that community every year. And I love it. I am so passionate about the work that's being done there. And it was awesome.
That is amazing. Sunny, our good friend, wants to know, what are your pros and cons of collaborating with others?
Yeah. So, I mean, anytime you collaborate with somebody, there has to be like something in it for both parties. I got an email from this kid the other day. He wanted to do a collab with us. And I appreciate the hustle, but he literally had like 41 subscribers. And I responded. I was like, hey, I appreciate the hustle, but like generally when you're looking for people to collab with, there has to be something in it for both of you. Either, you both grow from each other's audiences or something like that. Like this is very, lopsided. And he's like, okay, I appreciate that. And he actually emailed me like 2 or 3 days ago. He's like, hey, I'm up to 300 subscribers now. I was like, I love it. I'm still not going to collab with you, but I love the hustle. I love the updates. But yeah, there has to be like some value trade. The first, I guess, collabs that I did was with Cincinnati Picker and Hustled Home Mom. And I was a nobody. I had like 300 subscribers at the time, but I knew I had to give them value. So I made Cincinnati Picker's like intro song, the little swamp jam with like the Cincinnati Picker and the little hat comes on the screen. Like I made that and I sent it to him. I was like, hey, feel free to use this. If you do, I don't need any money. Just give me a shout out in video. That would be cool. And he used it for a long time. And that got me to like 700 or 800 subscribers. And then I basically did the same thing for Hustled Home Mom, made her like a channel outro. Sent her the same thing. Like, here, made this for you. Feel free to use it. If not, no hard feelings. If you do, just give me a shout out. And she gave me a shout out for that one as well. And that's how I got my first 1,000 subscribers, was just doing free labor for other YouTubers, because there was some value add. Like, hey, I've done this for you. Obviously, I'm just an idiot who nobody knows, but if you could give me a shout out, that would be cool. So if you ever want to collab with somebody, either be like a similar size, like we make videos with Phoenix Resale and like Retro Rick and stuff, and they're like bigger creators and we can each benefit from each other's audiences. But if it's like a vast difference in subscribers, usually the person who has less subscribers has to do something of value to make it worth the collab going down.
This is a weird time then for me to ask you. I have 107 subscribers, so we collab in the kidding.
No, let him answer.
Yeah, if you can just
we don't say it like to try to be prideful or something that we have the
You
bigger
are
channel.
not.
Yeah. No, I'm just like, I'm just kind of backing off of what Josh was saying. Like a lot of people reach out and want to do stuff with us, and we can't say yes to everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so there, like Josh said, there has to be like that balance. Like the reason that creators collab with one another is to have some sort of benefit to it, whether they say it is or not. I mean, it is, whether it's like a really good video idea or if it's like a friend that you're trying to encourage their business or something. There's always like that like mutual thing going on or whatever.
Yeah.
And I also say like you have to have like relatively like similar audiences. Like I think it would be weird if we like did a collab with someone that's not really reselling or selling in general or anything. Like there just has to be like mutual people that have the same what am I trying to say? Like
similar interests.
Yeah, similar interests.
Like if we did a collab with a ghost hunting channel, it might be interesting, but I don't like, those are two very different audiences.
What
so
about
like
ghost
plus
hunting
we were doing
channel
some
that also resells?
Ghost hunting.
Ghost hunting
Reselling
/
ghosts.
reselling, and
What?
we
Mountain
went
Man?
into
You
Mountain
can
Man.
resell haunted dolls for a
No,
lot of money, or
what
if
if
you
the
call it
ghost-
haunted and write a story about it.
The ghost might show us where everything is, where the Gucci is in
Yeah.
the gift store.
And there's the story, like
Yeah.
Rod was telling earlier.
There you go.
know?
See?
There's-
We're collaborating
there's
right
holes
now.
in
Right
the
in front of all your
floorboards.
Jeez. I would say for me, I mean, I've done a lot of collabs. I've, with like EDH Dave, with Combo Picker and stuff like that. And I'm a smaller channel. Like I've only have 7,500 subs, but I brought knowledge to help out their channels. And like, for example, like me and Kevin loves VHS. So he wanted me to do a collab or help educate the public on, you know, the top selling VHS of all time. And that video has been out a month, and we already had like 70,000 views on that. Like, it really just took off. And then I also did want to help him. I specialize in grading. So he wanted to help educate his crowd on grading items. You know, there was something they're interested in. So we did a video there together. But I would say one of the biggest things, or even me and Kat, like, you know, like being on the show and just networking with her has helped grow my audience. So that, I mean, there's pros, but also too is like, I will say is, as you deal with other channels, like you also deal with their fans, but you also deal with their haters as well. So people may come on there and start hating you just for the fact that you have something in your video. Like people say, hey, I'm going to unsubscribe because XYZ in your video. I'm like, okay, that's up to you. Like, I'm not going to stop being friends with people because, you know, I'm out there. But I mean, that's very few and far between, I would say. But I would say is, if anyone's out there looking to collab with people, the biggest thing you can do is meet people in person, go to FlipCon, go to these different events for reselling, because that's how you're going to actually get to talk to people in person. And if you're cool, you're going to have a better chance to collab with these people in the future. You know, like for example, I met Kat at the Prison of Profit event. I was a small channel and he had 1,000 subs at that point in time, you know, and she brought me on as a guest, and I was in the right place,
right time. Julian said, peace out. He's hitting 100K.
Yeah,
no, I'm just kidding.
But we hit it off really well. You know, yin and yang. We have complete different, you know, philosophies on a lot of things, but yet at the same time we're on the same page. So it worked. But you know, you just never know. You just got to put yourself out there and just network. And then when the time comes right, it just might happen.
Yeah, I love that, Rod, because like it like we were talking a lot about subscribers, but it has to do with like that personal connection. So like Kevin and all those people like knew your background and your knowledge, and that you could bring something to that. Like a lot of people are just like, hey, want to collab? I'm like, I know we don't know anything about you. Yeah. Like what knowledge would you bring? Like, just because you were a smaller channel doesn't mean that you didn't give him benefit. Like, you gave him a lot of benefit because of your knowledge, but that's because y'all had that personal relationship.
And sometimes I'll just give people shout outs because they do cool stuff. Like I've shouted out like Pick and Preacher and
the guy the other day, Justin
Page,
Resells.
1 Foot Flipper, Justin Resells. One of his videos popped up, and I think he had like 1,200 subscribers at the time, but he made a video about like sell-through rate. And I was like, man, I get asked this question all the time. And this is like exactly what I've been telling people individually, like responding to Instagram messages. So like, I'm just going to share this video now. And he makes great videos. I think he's up to like 3,000 or 4,000 subscribers now very quickly, because his videos are super like professional, and he's good on camera, and his information is right. He made like, I think the first video I saw of his was like how he made $83,000 part-time. And I was like, obviously that guy knows what he's doing, you know? So I shouted him out. He didn't ask. I didn't ask him if I could. I assumed he would like that, you know?
I appreciate it.
But yeah. So like, I'm not against like doing collabs with smaller creators. And there's no value in that for me, like sharing somebody's channel like that. I just think that I see people doing cool stuff, and I want to like,
but it like helped you explain and hopefully lessen the workload on you, because you're showing everybody. So it like gave value to your people, not necessarily.
It saved me in having to make a video like that.
Right. I have to tell a story. And so Josh, I think I had less than 500 subscribers, and I met some of my best friends. Josh used to do lives and let us come on and promote our channels. Do you remember this, Josh?
Yeah, that's how I met Joey Bada Bing.
I was on back to back with Joey. That's how I met Joey too. And Joey and I have met in person several times. Dale, DLJ and PA Flippin' Fiasco, who is like my best friend, even though she's not doing YouTube anymore, I met through Josh. So Josh has been around like my channel since before 1,000 subscribers. And I was at work still nursing, and like, I'm like, oh, he's putting me up next. And I had to like run outside in my scrubs to like talk to his audience. So
I remember talking to you on the phone one time too. Like, I think I was talking to Matt, part-time picker, and he was like, yeah, you should talk to Kat. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Give her my number or whatever. And I don't remember what we were talking about. I think you were
talking. Here's the funny thing. He was talking to me about thumbnails and like looking more professional, putting my hair down, which has been down since. It goes up right after this video. If you see me in person, it's up most of the time.
I'm falling apart here.
So yeah, like thumbnails being professional, and like Josh took that time out of his day for me. I like helping people now too. So like the pros are definitely that you grow your subscribers either with knowledge from other creators or with their audience, you bring it in. Like we have people on here. Tiffypie has 100. She has more than 107, but she has that Poshmark knowledge for us and can add that. So for me, they're going to gain subscribers coming on here now. They weren't in the beginning. In the beginning, I was the one getting the benefit from everybody, but now it's mostly smaller channels we bring on, and they bring value to our people. They give different opinions about selling and insights into it, and then they gain some subscribers. You guys watch these and you follow them, so they get that and we get more value for you guys. So con wise, there's not a ton of negatives that I would say. I just I'm kind of like Josh and Hayley. Like if you just ask me, and there's not, like, I don't have a lot of free time, so I don't do a ton of collabs. You guys won't hear me shout very many people out. And I think people know if you don't do it often, when you do say something, you mean it. And like, I know it's so funny. Like Matt gave me a shout out, Part-Time Pickers, when I had like 100 subs. I got to like 300 in a day and I was going crazy. I was at work, I was nursing. And then he did it again when I was like over 1,000 and I got a ton, and he did it a couple other times, but it was in passing and I got like nothing. So if you tell us to give you a shout out and we're like, oh, here's a shout out, like it doesn't help. I don't care how many subscribers we have. Like if we're just like, oh, yay, like we have to give you a reason to want to follow that. Like, oh, this is my friend, or like, hey, this is Rod. He knows about grading comics. Great guy. Like not just, hey, go check out Picking and Punching. Like it won't help you. Right. It won't help you.
Well, that's like the same thing too, is when people, YouTubers, in the first 10 seconds are like, hey, subscribe to my channel. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to my channel. I'm like,
why?
Oh, I don't even know what you do. You brought no value to it. And that's the biggest mistake YouTubers make all the time. And I laugh all the time. I'm like, why don't you wait to ask me that question 3, 4, 5 minutes in the video after if I made it this far, I'm enjoying what you're doing. I'm going to want to do that, you know? Like,
yeah.
I can't tell you how many Instagram requests that I get. And it's so funny because like people send me Instagram requests and like their first thing is like, hey, I'm sure you'll never read this, but blah, blah, blah. So I love responding to those because it just like proves them wrong. But like it's happened probably 20 or 30 times. These people are like, hey, love your videos. You'll never see this though. And I'll respond. I'm like, oh, thanks for watching. And they're like, oh, wow, that's crazy. Will you give me a shout out? And their Instagram page has like 10 followers and like no profile picture. I'm like, what do you even want a shout out for? Your Instagram with no content and no photo? Well, it's just, I don't know. So
but it goes back to like what you said earlier, and we have a saying in the wrestling industry: you got to be the biggest man in the room without being the biggest man in the room, because you have to have that it factor. And you will shout out these channels if you find that they're doing something outside the box, they're standing out, and that's what you like that. You like that hustle, you like the creativity because you're very creative with your videos. So people, wow, she's.
Are there 86 more of you in here that
I
are
have
not
to still follow
Tiffany?
All right, anyone who's new to the show right now, please go subscribe to Thrift in Vegas. We're trying to have her hit 100,000. She's 86 away. 86 away. Yeah, that's right.
Dalton,
Tiffany left
will you go subscribe to Thrifting Vegas?
Oh, get Dalton in there.
Subscribe to her. That's Tiffany. Could you go do it and give her a like?
Tiffany left a very kind message about about us and said our Whatnot shows are fun. And she won an amazing mystery Pokemon card. She was in there. Oh, yeah. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that Tiffany does not know very much about Pokemon cards, but she did get a very good one. We bought like a booster box of Pokemon Evolutions. It was like $850. And we were just like selling the packs and then opening them, and whatever was in the pack you won. So Tiffany paid like, I don't know, it was like $30 or $40 for a pack. And she ended up getting one, I think the reverse holo Charizard. And ungraded, I think it's probably worth like $120 or something. She was very excited, and I was excited for her.
To subscribe.
The reverse hologram chart. I was like, that got deep.
Yeah. I'm sure you know a lot about Pokemon too, right, Tiffany?
Yes, I'm a professional Pokemoner.
Okay.
I've got to catch them all. So
you probably already caught them all.
Dalton subscribed. He said to show you. He will
85
watch you.
now. 85.
Here's the funny thing. He just subscribed to me tonight. He's like, Mom, I never see your videos. He's showing again.
I was your co-host until like last week. You subscribed to my channel.
Listen, I know. It's
Up, are you okay?
a video came. He's like, I don't ever see your. He said, Mom, I gave you another like and subscribe because he watches my. Oh, he gave you a notification bell, Tiffany.
Josh, you got a request here. If someone can shout out their MySpace page.
That's John. More income.
Yeah.
John's been around since the beginning for a while too.
You can put it.
Yes,
next to
it's in her safe.
In your top 8.
Your Pokemon card is in the safe, Josh.
Ooh, wow.
Oh, nice. Keep it pristine.
All right.
Made it to the safe.
Okay, thank you. I love you. Thank you for helping us. Lisa sent another $5 super chat and said, if you end and sell similar in eBay, the item will not match up in LP. Cause major problems for me. Do you do that in LP or eBay? I'm assuming she means update the number.
Yeah. So we still have List Perfectly. We still pay for it. We still use it to list on eBay from time to time. But when we actually go through, we don't cross post anymore. Actually, I think you did.
I've been
recently.
cross posting the women's,
but we've already double sold something, so we're not very good at cross posting.
We're not good at it. We're YouTubers.
Yeah. But yeah, if you end an item on eBay and sell similar, then your item number changes. And if you don't go back and update that in List Perfectly won't know that. And so if you sell something on Poshmark and then you delete it from eBay and List Perfectly, it'll remove the old item, which is already removed. So yeah, if we're going to relist your items, you need to do that in List Perfectly.
Or copy the number. So I relist like 50 items on Poshmark every week. And so, because after the 90-day mark, you can relist on Poshmark and it'll put you at the top of the algorithm. And that's when I see you'll sell usually an item within 10 minutes of doing that in a go round. I just copy the number and I put the new number in by going in and doing the line edit in List Perfectly. And by going through that, to me, that's the fastest way. I talked to Patrick, the tech guy at LP, and he had been giving me that feedback as well, that is the quickest way to do it for you to sync up your closets. But just like Josh just said, if you don't do that, you're going to be in a world of trouble because that's how you're going to double sell something.
I think they answered it best. So I got nothing else to add.
So I don't copy the numbers over because I end and sell similar like over 100 and I just don't have the time. So what I've been doing though, instead of using the auto ending feature, I search in the catalog each item and I end it. And then because the numbers only changed on eBay. So eBay is my main concern to not like sell it on Poshmark and not have it on eBay. So if something sells on Poshmark, I immediately end it on eBay. And then I look at my orders and go search, and it does not take long to search. It's the way I did it before auto detection. So I go and search them, and then I look at my listings unsold in eBay. So eBay is like my main catalog because I'm automatically, like, soon as a sale comes through on any other platform, I'm ending it on eBay. And so then I go to the unsold and end it in List Perfectly, and it takes it off all the other platforms. So if it's sold on Posh, when I go do that every morning, that's the first thing I do. It ends it on Mercari and Etsy. And that eBay is the only one that's going to like kick you in the butt if you don't have the item. So that's my main concern, is that it gets ended on eBay if it sells somewhere else. So hopefully they can find a way. Yes, Dalton probably could do marketing. He just asked me how many more subscribers Tiffany needed. He thought he could go subscribe 80 times to get her to it. He said, I think I can do it.
I subscribed to her a lot already.
Yeah.
I feel like I already got subscribed to all of her videos.
All of her videos. Okay. All right. Let me give Beach Walker a quick dolphin, and then we will move on. Here you go.
But why were you in?
Why was I in there? That's what he just asked me. Why was I in that video?
That's all I noticed was you in the window.
Gino made that, so you have to ask Gino. He's probably in the chat. Gino made that for mommy. Oh, that's another thing. Hey, Josh, speaking of intros, Gino has made me like 3 little super chat things, and Gino has come on the show twice. Like,
Perfect.
he's the man that makes the super chats. Dalton has my scrunchie on his head.
No.
One day. So he wants a Minecraft channel. He's been driving me crazy. He's obsessed with Minecraft, and he's been bugging the living daylights out of me. Here, Miss Barbara, I'm not going to give you a pillow fight, but can you tell Miss Barbara, since we're here live, can you tell Miss Barbara thank you for the super chat?
Thank you.
There's whoa. I have my laptop up to not make it hot, and I dropped it. So there's a live, I should have a live pillow fight, but I'm not that brave. All right, next question. Let's see.
I think we should implement a lightning round. 10
Yes.
seconds per square.
You want to go? We have 20 questions. You ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Okay. Ready, set. Can anyone recommend a video for Poshmark? I don't understand all the sharing.
I don't really sell on Poshmark, but there is a thing called Posher VA, which I think is illegal to use, but everybody does it anyway. And that's how people share their store 18 times a day, like some people claim to do manually. I don't know. Posher VA, I hear nothing but good things about it. Also, maybe controversial. I think Nicole State has a Poshmark course, but say what you want about Nicole State, but I have heard good things about the actual course, and I think it's only like 20 or 30 bucks. So it seems pretty in depth. May want to check that out. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to make the video. Out the door, I'm going to make the video for you. That's going to be my YouTube
Sure.
video. That's going to be my
Yes.
shtick of the night. I will make the video. I may not have a lot of people on YouTube, but I have 190,000 subscribers on Poshmark, and that's my jam. So I'll make the video for you.
Perfect. And when can we expect that video so they can look for it?
Wow. Oh, cool. Well, I'm still
gotta
recovering
commit.
from my buddy next to me, which is 18
right,
shares
man.
a day, selling me out.
Hey, I'm just saying it's a little suspicious.
The 1-2
I'm
punch,
just
all right?
saying you sold me out, but I have a little NDA, so I can't sell me out. You did. I'll make the video 1 week.
1 week. All right. 1 week, guys. So go subscribe to your channel so you can watch that video in 1 week.
One
And
way.
until you watch Tiffany's video, go check out Becky Park on Poshmark, guys. She is absolutely amazing for Poshmark stuff. The original, I feel like she's the original Poshmark queen. She is absolutely amazing. Grandma Mary, yard long framed print, and buyer said the shipping is too high because she's got a 36-inch dimension, wants me to charge. eBay wants me to change the way it's being shipped. eBay won't let me change shipping because an offer was made. Other than a price reduction, what option do I have?
If it was an offer, there's probably not immediate payment required on that. So you can just accept the offer and then send her an updated invoice with the appropriate shipping. But also make sure you're not going to lose money, because shipping something that's that long and probably fragile sounds like my absolute nightmare. So good luck with that. Don't sell yourself short.
Pass.
So when you send out an offer, everything's going to be locked on that listing, except that you can actually go in there and change the price of the actual thing. So if you're going to offer them a discount on shipping or anything, they just go back in and adjust the price of the item. But just like Josh said, don't sell yourself short. Also, too, is you can always take it to UPS. It's going to pay a little higher fee, but they can package the item up for you and ship it out, and they take all the liability on that as well.
But
Yeah,
it is
go
extremely
ahead.
expensive.
Yes, it is.
That's where my $3,000 painting is going if I can't get freight.
Yep.
I mean, but I have the profit in it. I tell people shipping has went up. A 36-inch dimension is not going to be cheap no matter what way, and it's framed. And I would assume there's some money and value in that. My buyer just paid over $300 for shipping. So I don't really bend on that, because like the shipping for oversized stuff is really expensive now.
Yep.
So you could do, if I wanted to, I would do what Josh said, accept the offer, tell them to accept it, and you would invoice them if you were going to give them a discount on the shipping. I think we have a super chat that I've seen in forever. Is it Noel? It is Noel. Noel, $20.23, and says it's been a minute. See what I said before I even read it. Hope you're having a wonderful summer. We are. Dalton starts back to school week from Thursday, so this is our last shebang before kindergarten starts a week from Thursday, which is why we will not be at FlipCon. It will be the first day of kindergarten. So Noelle, thank you so much. I'm going to give you the original one, and then we're going to go back to speed round and get through all of these questions really fast.
Super chat.
Super chat. I like that.
So you know who that is, Josh? That's Emily Conway.
Oh yeah.
That's
I
whose
remember.
voice that is, with like a voice distortion. I met her on your channel too. Emily Conway is who made that original. That's from like 3 years ago, 2.5.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time. All right. What is a bolo you've had that really surprised you about its value?
Haley, take it away.
I'm so bad with
Can
on
you
the
talk
spot
about the
questions.
backpack you found the other day?
What backpack did I find?
The one in the bins that's already sold for $100.
The Osprey or
Osprey.
something. Yeah, I don't really know much about like bags and backpacks and stuff other than like I guess big brands or something. But I found like Osprey, OSPREY
It's the bird. OSP.
at the
REY,
bins. Probably paid $2 and it sold for like $100 within like
within like 2 days.
2 days or so.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a recent one.
And we've sold that brand backpack 3 or 4 times. They always sell pretty fast.
Yeah.
I feel like Haley. I panic under this, like on the spot. I think
I so
anytime I
panic.
see something really, really ugly and think it's really, really ugly, and then it sells for like $200. I know that sounds really dumb, but my trash is another person's treasure, and that blows my mind every time about the world.
Mm-hmm.
So
The uglier, the better.
Yeah, that's true. I would say this was not so much for me, but for a lot of people who don't know, like CRT TVs, like the old bubble tube TVs are used for gaming and for a lot of like retro stuff. And 13-inch and 20-inch TVs, I ship them on eBay all the time, and they do really well. They sell for hundreds of dollars.
What's that big TV? It's the Trinitron.
Sony. Yep.
Sony Trinitron. That's like the best one. It's like a $400 TV.
Yeah, that's the Lamborghini of CRT TVs, pretty much. So, or another one is the HDMI. Do you know the VCR DVD combos? So there's actually ones that have the later models actually have an HDMI hookup to them. And if you find the ones that have the HDMI hookup, they can go for $200-300 because they're at the very end when they were just starting to make HDMI for those, and they can bring big bucks.
So for me, I'm going to throw a new jewelry maker out there at you guys that I didn't know, and that's Ben Amon. His jewelry is gold tone. It's costume. It doesn't look overly expensive, but it's like like $50. And I actually found like 5 pieces like recently that I didn't pay much for at all. I put this, I'm glad you sent this because I'm going to explain to you and tell you exactly what happened. I listed a freight shipment last month. Hey, it was last month. What? My words slip up was true. So freight shipping, I use uship.com. I actually have a video explaining exactly how it works. I haven't been using it a lot lately since the gas price went up, and I haven't picked up as many big things because of that, because most people won't pay for freight. So the cool thing, I can like give you an update on, I sold that $3,000 painting. It's 4 foot by 4.5 foot. And I could pack that. Could I? Yes. Do I want to risk a $3,000 painting? No. So what I did is I told the buyer, I would like to send this freight, which might take a little bit longer, and I will pay the difference. So here's what I did is I listed it on uShip. She paid $300. I said it's going from Florida to Massachusetts, and I'll pay $300. I have 3 freight companies right now that are willing to hand deliver my painting for $300, which is exactly what my buyer paid. And it'll be hand delivered. They'll wrap it in a blanket. It will go from their hand to her, not thrown in a box, thrown around by UPS. So you need to know, like I put oversized and overweight on that box, right? So it ended up $300 for UPS shipping because I needed to pad it. I knew it would be expensive. And depending on where, like if that was going to California, I probably would have had to pay $600. But their calculated shipping would have been more too. And it might've been around that $500 mark, and I'm okay paying $100. So freight is only good for really high dollar, even if it's furniture. Like nobody's going to pay $500 to deliver a $200 dresser. So now will they pay $500 to deliver $1,000 or $1,500 dresser? Yeah, they might if it's vintage and one they want. They might pay that if your $200 dresser is worth $1,000. But I quit picking up because the cost is more. But I'm like super happy I didn't get the notifications. I have 3 companies that are willing to come pick up my painting. I don't have to put it in a box. My husband will be thrilled. Not have to take it to UPS, and they come to your house. They come to your house. They will pick it up. They will wrap it in a blanket, and they will take it to my buyer's house in Massachusetts. And my other $3,000 sale was delivered the same way. So I think if you have a lot of profit in something and it's delicate, like if they would have come back and told me they wanted 500, I would have paid the extra 200 for the peace of mind of that $3,000 thing getting there fast. And we have a new member, Quick Dolphin. Josh is falling asleep. I'm trying not to he's gonna
He didn't sleep very well last night. In case we didn't.
No, yeah, and I don't know how.
Oh yeah, tell us more, Hayley.
Rebel Junk says cat far exceeded the 10-second limit.
I totally did. Okay, I'm gonna pick a 7-second super chat. Here we go. Okay, let's go. Rod Click. Okay, I'm going to even read them fast. Can anyone on eBay give me a negative review without even buying anything? Notice after shipping price complaint through a private message, they got a negative review. My only question would be, did they buy it and then cancel it? And the answer to that is yes. If they buy it, even if they don't pay, eBay allows those suckers to leave feedback, but you can get it removed. Message eBay, tell them the buyer never followed through with the purchase and it will be gone. Next. Just got here. What's your opinion of eBay's AI description when listing?
Go ahead, Josh.
10 seconds.
Haley, take it away.
I know nothing about the AI description. I just saw it pop up and I'm like, whatever.
It's buyers don't read. You can put whatever you want in the description. It could be AI, it could be a paragraph, it could be 12 paragraphs. They're not going to read anything. They're going to look at the title and photos. So it's just pointless.
I write super flowery already, so I'm basically a human AI, but just for SEO, I do it to try and make sure I'm optimizing that.
I think it's good for certain items like jewelry or maybe clothing, but overall, I hate it. I don't think it's good at all. Because if I have look at this can and it's so shiny, and you know what I mean? Like no one's gonna read.
I feel attacked.
Yeah. Well, I attack a lot, so
I will hire you to write my descriptions. I like AI, and I'm doing it for jewelry and stuff that works with the flowery filler words. And I did no description before, so I think it's better than that. Inventory tracking. I get the SKU and the storing part, but do I need a spreadsheet to keep hard numbers for my cost of goods, or is it smarter to just use eBay reports and average cost?
we
don't track.
We are not accountants here, so we're not giving any type of accounting advice. I had to throw out the disclaimer every show, so go ahead.
I feel confident in our advice. I was talking to Mark 2, Not Your Dad CPA, and he's like, I really wish people would stop telling people to ask their accountant these questions, because oftentimes people know the answer to basic stuff. But yes, I am not an accountant, I'm not a tax professional. But yeah, we don't track individual items. Same way a restaurant doesn't track every French fry they sell. Lowe's doesn't track every screw they sell. We have a business debit card and business credit card. Everything possible for our business goes on those 2 cards, and the bank statements support everything we buy. If we take cash to the flea market or something, we get cash out of the ATM with the business debit card, and that transaction shows up in our bookkeeping software, and then our bookkeeper marks that as got cash for garage sales. And if the IRS ever questions that, they can go watch our YouTube videos and see it happen right before their very eyes. But yeah, in terms of individual inventory, no, we just if we spend $1,000 on inventory in 1 month and we make $10,000 in sales. So say we start with $10,000 in sales, which is a lot. That's more than we make probably. But then we just take out shipping fees and how much we spend on inventory that month. And that's our monthly profit. And then you do have to do like, you do have to account for your starting and ending inventory at the beginning and end of the year. But other than those 2 months, just doing it monthly totals like that, it's totally fine.
That I'm here for the fries and the screws analogy because it's exactly
So
true.
kind of like part of the reason why we tell people to always just check with the accountant, because there's pretty much 2 different ways to really balance your books. You know, you're talking about the cash in, cash out method, which is pretty much the easiest for resellers because we're buying and selling so much random garbage and random stuff. I do sell garbage.
Oh, there's garbage.
Yeah,
Let's
I mean,
be
if
honest.
it's a community sale, you go to pick up the garbage and you just sell it online. But yeah, so I would say, I mean, the best thing is cash in, cash out method. It's going to be probably the easiest for you to use. But I mean, as you build your business, you should at least talk to an accountant so you have a plan to go forward, so you don't make any mistakes, so you know what to do going forward. But
yeah, I just do money in, money out, and I just do average cost of goods. And I'm lucky I remember. You could put it in your custom SKU, your cost, if you wanted to remember just for yourself for accepting offers. But I'm money in, money out. Much easier. All right, baby coming soonish. J-Ride, congratulations on the baby. Tips on reselling full-time with kids. So who of us is reselling with kids?
Do fur kids count?
so I would say you take a note from the Commonwealth Pickers book. He puts his kids to work. It's cheap labor. So he has them all out in his sweatshop. He has them all out there all day long, just running his business. But no, it's, I mean,
I paid $35 for a hand painted Christmas ornament last year. This kid.
I have one of the original year ones on my tree.
And, you know, like he says, $1 in his pocket, 2 in his pocket. Kids get one goes to charity.
Mm-hmm.
You
But
know,
J-Rod has a baby.
Yeah. So
baby coming soon.
For the future,
so I will say, don't bring your baby to the bins because they're just
Yes,
going to get in the
please do
way.
not.
They'll get hand,
They're
foot,
gonna
and
get in the
mouth
way.
disease too, apparently.
I would
And
say
foot and mouth disease. I think you just need find a babysitter that can like babysit for like a certain price, and then like make good use of the time when you have that free time to resell. Like, don't hire a babysitter and then go fart around and do nothing. Like, hire the babysitter, immediately go source. Like, get as much as you possibly can done before you have to go back to the baby. I mean, I guess you can resell with a baby on your hip, but from what I've seen,
Jocelyn, crazy lamp lady, go look at her videos. Laurel is there on her, like they are going thrifting.
It's possible.
It is. It's possible. I can answer it super easy because I started when he was born, and he is the reason I started reselling. Again, I've been doing it off and on since ¡99. That kid gets so much free stuff. Like it's crazy. And I'm like, he's laughing. And I'm like, he's going to come to expect that like people will give him stuff. So I brought him with me, and it was easier when he was smaller. I wouldn't, of course, when they're little bitty babies because of risk for catching stuff. But once they're a little bigger and immunized, up until he was 2, he was good for me. And he grew up around this stuff. I have a play area in my shed where I list. So I would say have toys where you list, make use of nap time. I agree with Tiffany 100%. Dalton to this day has a little playhouse back in the back of the shed where he can keep himself occupied and I can work. We have a TV in there too. And he watches TV while I'm listing. So you can make it work and have them interactive. Like he can sell you guys stuff on the camera just like I can. Poshmark Live, how effective do you think silent auctions are, and what would make them more profitable?
I think Tiffany could take this one.
Yes, that's all Tiffany.
Yep.
If you expect to make a lot of money on a Poshmark Live silently, you're not going to. If you are laying in bed watching TV like I do, and you're rolling through some Vanderpump Rules and you just want to keep going through some items, you'll have a few sales, which is awesome because you're literally just pressing start. They have made it so there's no video, no audio, there's nothing. I'm literally watching TV running items. So they're not effective as a way to sell 10, 20, 30 items, but they're a great way to sell a few items. And then for me, I will add on. I almost always have repeat buyers. So once they buy once, whether it's a silent or a live, they will come back and buy again and again and again. So once you get them hooked, line, and sinkered, it really helps.
Did we click the same question at the same time? We're hitting you. Are Poshmark lives now dominating the platform more than the traditional way of reselling?
No. People will tell you that, and I don't
Oh.
agree with it at all. I just took over. Sorry, Josh. I hope that was okay.
I don't know anything about Poshmark.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to be
Yours
that
is
person.
last
Resales on there because we don't have the items.
Bobby brought you
Um,
on. You're the Poshmark Live specialist.
But I don't believe so. They're not for me. I still have quite a few of my traditional way of reselling making my biggest chunk of my profits. However, I will say if you are committed to doing like 3 shows a week on Poshmark and you can get a really dedicated community that will show up for you, you can make money hand over fist. You will be selling tray after tray after tray.
I have a frequent buyer from Australia on Whatnot. Does anybody know if how the new shipping guidelines affect the international buyers?
No, on Whatnot, I wouldn't worry about that because there's nothing you can do to change it. They're gonna, when they go to buy something, they're either gonna pay for the shipping or they're not. You can't. There's no other option to ship it any other way on Whatnot. It's either Whatnot's way or the item just doesn't sell. So I wouldn't worry about that.
All right. Does eBay remove older listings, but not older than 2 years? I couldn't find some leggings. I tried to searching for the ID, but looking up, no success.
Remove older listings, but
Yeah.
not older.
So,
than
like
2
for
years.
example, if you
They're
go through your
talking about the
inventory-
ones falling off.
yeah, falling off. Like you pull out your
Oh,
inventory,
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
where the hell these items go? You know, why aren't they listed?
Yeah, for us, it's people that buy stuff and don't pay for it. eBay opens up an item unpaid items case and they ding the buyer's account, even though nothing really happens. But then eBay doesn't relist that item. eBay just loses it. It's gone. It's not in sold. It's not in unsold. It's not in listed. All the
It's
photos are
just
gone. It's just gone. So usually every like 6 to 9 months, we'll go through our eBay listed inventory and pull 30 or 40 things that are just have definitely been listed before and just aren't anymore.
Okay.
And it's all because people didn't
Last
pay for
question. And I think Tiffany, give advice about Poshmark lives because I think live sales are live sales, like basic ones. So, Josh, what advice do you have about Whatnot? This is the last question, guys.
Last question.
You start. I'm not good.
This guy had some questions earlier too. FlipCon, he asked if this is the last year for FlipCon. Yes, this is the last year for FlipCon. We're done. We are not event planners. We are event planners. It's going to be a good event, but we're not
good. We put a lot
we're
of
not
time
doing
into-
anything again. This
Not-
So you're going out with a bang. So buy those last 20.
going out with a
Yes.
bang, giving all the money. No, I'm just kidding. Might keep a little bit of money. I don't know. The advice about Whatnot. I don't know. Just it's hard. It's harder than you think if you don't have a YouTube following or a way to get people to your shows. I think the biggest reason I see people like fail on Whatnot is a lack of quality inventory. That's probably the number one reason. Like I'll go in somebody's show just like wanting to support them, like, hey, let me find something to buy. And I'll go through their whole store of like 70 things. And I'm like, I don't want any of this stuff. It's just like not good stuff, So I don't know.
The beauty of Whatnot too is when it's all about psychology. So like a lot of people who come onto Whatnot or any sort of live selling, Poshmark regardless, are not necessarily on there to buy something. They're on there to just like shop. And there are some people who are like strictly on there to buy, like resellers are constantly looking for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes they're just wanting to be entertained. And so one, if they're not entertained in your show, they're immediately going to leave regardless of what you have. And two, like the psychology behind like you have an item and for some reason that buyer thinks that that's really the only item in the world and they have to have it then, And a lot of people don't have like unique inventory or like brands that people are like looking for. Like if you're trying to only sell like Walmart brand stuff, no one's going to come into yours live if you're selling Walmart because they can go to Walmart and buy that. So it's just like the psychology behind like, I don't know, finding an audience and finding what the audience wants. A lot of people on Whatnot do really, really well with 10 people in their shows. Because if you have 10 people or even 5 people that are interested in what you're selling, you're going to do really well.
You only need 2 people to battle.
Exactly.
Tiff?
And you don't have to start things at $1. We start everything at $1, but we're on a different, we have the YouTube following, which we're blessed with, but please don't start things at $1 if you're not comfortable with starting them at $1.
But also, like, you have to be realistic. If you've got 10 people in your show and you've got an item that is worth $30 and you're starting it out at 25, you can't get mad when it doesn't sell.
Yeah.
Because people aren't going to buy that. So there's like a sweet spot. I think like having like 50 items that are all worth like $20 or so and starting those at like $5, you'd probably be able to sell some of that stuff. But like I said, most people that are not succeeding at Whatnot right now have stuff that's worth $5 that they're starting at $8, or stuff that's worth like $100. They started at $1 and then it sells for $3, and then they get mad because they lost all this money. I'm like, well, you got 2 people in your show, and so what do you expect? Just have realistic expectations and put yourself in the buyer's shoes.
People come to watch you, like they come to watch a show. I don't do live shopping to buy stuff. I go to live shopping. It's like dinner and a show. I get my glass of wine out. I want to have a good time. I buy stuff while I'm being entertained, but I'm not there. If I want to buy stuff, I'm going to spend time curating, looking on Posh, looking on eBay, looking on Mercari, and really looking for what I'm really trying to hone in on. That Lululemon line, I'm looking in the size 6 and I want the like pockets, right? If I go on a Whatnot show or a Posh live and soon to be eBay live, it's because I want to have a good time. I want to laugh. I want to be amused. I think people buy from people they like, and corny people make money. Like I go in and I'm weird as hell. I'm like the weirdest person you'll ever meet in your entire life. And people are like, oh, she's like legitimately that weird. Like that's not a huge presence. Like that's her legit personality. And Kat, like her and I are interacting, and Kat's like, oh, you are actually this weird. Like this is not just you on a stage.
But we all love her for it. We all
That's the first thing I thought when I met you.
That's
I'm
why
like,
we
wow,
love her.
weird.
Like corny dorky makes you money, and that's what I do. And I think that's what it's about. And yes, don't sell crap. Like I totally agree with that. And the number one mistake that every single person does on every live that I've seen, and the number one way to fail, and I think that you guys both honed in on it really well, don't start things for $1 if you're not going to let it go for $1, and then go on your Instagram and do a live story crying about how you sold your crap for $1. I was like, oh no, that's so sad. That plan you had failed. Like, I don't know how. It was flawless. You had 6 people in your show, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't have hundreds of thousands of YouTube followers. So if I get 40 people in my live, that's a good outcome. But here's the thing. If I get one person hooked and she buys a box of 10 or 15 things from me, that made my hour on there worth it. And that's good enough for me. But it is about who you are and that interaction. And I'll add one last thing. Do not ignore the chat. Interact with the chat.
Yes.
Ask questions.
Yep.
What are you drinking? What are you doing? What is happening? Where are you from? And like I see, Texas lady right now. I'd be like, Texas lady, I'm in Texas. Texas lady, where are you at? And then we have this whole conversation. Maybe she feels guilted into buying something, Texas lady. I don't know. And that's just kind of how it rolls.
I think the biggest mistake a lot of people make is that think of Whatnot. Whatnot's not a reselling platform. Whatnot is a social media platform. So what you see on Facebook, what you see on Instagram, what you see on YouTube that entertains you, add those factors in there, because if you treat it as if you're scrolling through Instagram, what's going to stop you to look at that? That's the same thing you do with your shows. But also too, a lot of new sellers, they don't take advantage of the tools that Whatnot uses. Like you can literally put a video up of what you guys have. You can take photos of what you have. You can pre-list all your inventory up there. I can't tell you how many times I go into a Whatnot, have a new seller has 17 followers and they have nothing listed, nothing prepared beforehand. You're just not setting yourself up for success. Also too is you can actually pay, a lot of people don't know this, pay a couple bucks and you have Whatnot promote your show. That's a feature that you could do. A lot of people don't take advantage of that one as well. And also too is think of it this way. If you had a brick and mortar business, you would pay for advertising. So why not pay to get some extra items in your store that you can just break even on, or get good quality, lower dollar items for sellers? I mean, I don't care if I lose money on certain items, because you're going to work on the rule of averages, right? So the biggest thing is I'm saying high quality items, but sell them for low prices. Start them out there. The only reason I'm saying that is starting out, you want to try to make sure you have people come and schedule your next shows in advance. So if you do have good items, you can promote it so people will go to your next shows. Go ahead, Josh.
I agree. Okay. I'm so glad you brought up brick and mortar, because I think that for some reason, when people sell stuff online, all the rules about like selling stuff in real life, nobody thinks about it, like upselling people. Yes. Or, adding stuff on. If you've got one person in your show and they buy a women's size extra large top, and you're like, okay, well, thanks. No, don't say thanks. You're like, hey, I've got 40 other women's extra large tops. Like, you want? I'll
Bingo.
make you a whole box
I'm
right
gonna
now.
show all to you. I'm gonna show you every one.
I'll tell you every single one of them. Like, if you find somebody that's interested in something, do not let them go. Do not let them click off the app until they buy at least one more thing from you. Like, you have to just like take advantage of these situations. Like, pretend when somebody comes into your live show, it's the equivalent of a person walking into your brick and mortar. Like, oh, hey, what's up? How'd you find the store? Welcome in. Take a look around. You're interested in that? I've got a bunch more in the back. Please buy some. I need to feed my family.
Take requests. If you're new too, if you have 10 people in your thing, you have 50 items listed. If someone, they're not going to want to sit through 30 items to get to that number 32, the item you have. Run that item for them because they're going to stay around more. They're going to say, hey, what else you guys want? Or start going down your line. And then when they give you that request, run it. Biggest thing is listen, like she said, listen to the chat though.
Yeah, so I think they had a lot of good points. We've sold 20,000 items on Whatnot since September. And I just last night, guys, so talking about, like, I was starting everything at $5, and I was that person that was pissed off that it only sold for $5 when it was worth $50. So last night was the first night. It was really curated. Hold on one second. I see you. He put his stuff down. He's pregnant with his crafty. Oh, sorry. It's a stingray. It's a baby stingray. So last night I said, I can't let this stuff go that cheap anymore. Like, overall, I was making a profit, but I would be butthurt. I wouldn't let anybody know and I wouldn't complain, but I was butthurt, right? Because I'm like, it's worth $50. Like, even for a reseller, pay 10 or 15 bucks. Like, why'd it sell for $5? Last night, I had $50 starts. I had $100 starts. There were some $20 starts. I sold out, hands down. And I was sold out in a show and a lot. And I'm like, oh, I priced it. And they were still good. There was room for resellers, $35 for a $90 necklace. There was room for you to make 40 bucks on it. And so I agree, especially if you don't have that many people. I have been taking requests. We've dropped down to 40. I used to get 150 in there. I only get about 40 to 50, but I still almost sell out every show. So you just need the buyers. Schedule your shows in advance. If you're starting on Whatnot, have at least one more show scheduled so you can tell them to go bookmark the next one. Because if they're in there, they like you, they're buying, tell them to do it. I agree. Catalog. We catalog every show, take pictures, and yeah. And I take requests now. I haven't. I was like, I'm going in order. I know I'm going to sell out. I'm not listening. Like, I sounded horrible. I'm like, nope, we're going in order. But now we do take some requests. And if stuff's not selling, I say, guys, we're doing request only. I don't want to bore everybody. And when you're sitting there running 20 items and 2 sell, that's boring. I don't care how many people are in the chat. So I stop. I'm like, tell me what you want. Like, obviously you don't want what I have, that I've showed you. Tell me. And we still almost sell out a lot of times, but we run it in a different order. And I've had to let go of like my OCD of running an order, right? Like, I'm like, okay, Kat, you don't have to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, you can do 33. It's okay. Yes, that's the fear with anything you're doing, guys. Reselling, you're scared to post the first item. Like, just do it. Like Nike, just do it. Just do it. Okay, I talked enough. I'm going to let everybody say bye really quick. I'll let Dalton come say goodbye, and we will let Josh go to bed. All right, here's Josh and Hayley really fast, I'm sure.
Goodbye really quick.
Do you want to promote anything? Promote something.
Oh, FlipCon. We're doing the FlipCon, and it's going to be good. Free money. Come if you like money.
Free money. Here's Tiffypie.
Just kidding. You should come, but I cannot guarantee there will be free money. Maybe. It's possible. It's possible. Gary V might be there. It's possible.
Everything is possible. Okay. Here's Tiffypie.
Everything is possible.
Everything is possible.
Anything is possible. I just want to say really, really heartfelt thank you to Kat and Rod for having me. Kat, meeting you at Camp List Party. You gave me a chance. You gave me an opportunity on this. I'm going to try not to cry, but I am really emotional about it because I'm really grateful for you. So thank you so much for that. And now I have a commitment to my friend that I'm going to make my YouTube. My husband is somewhere cheering because he's begging me to make YouTube. So I will make a tutorial on how to use Poshmark. But Kat, Rod, seriously, thank you.
Rod?
Well, I'm really close to challenging Jake Paul to a boxing match, so I just need another 93,000 subs. So, guys, go to my channel, subscribe to me. I've just put a new video. As always, any questions we didn't answer tonight, hit me up on Facebook and on IG. I will answer any questions we didn't get to. There's about 20 we didn't get to tonight. I'm trying to catch Kat on Facebook, so please give me a follow there. I have a whatnot on Thursday night. I'm doing 90s vintage toys. Everything's starting at $2 and $3. So I just want to blow everything out. About 40 toys there, and some vintage plush as well.
Perfect. Dalton, you want to come say bye? You look, they can't even see you. You didn't see he was like, bye. Okay, he's
Bye.
like Josh. Him and Josh are very similar. Bye.
And just like what Tiffany said, like, thanks so much for having us on. I met all three of you guys at Camp Listing Party, and this has been awesome. So
that's why you go to events like FlipCon, guys.
Yeah.
Meet people in person. Like, I could not love Tiffypie. Tiffy was on one of the panels I spoke on at Camp Listing Party, and I loved her since, and I will bring her on more. Okay, Mom. He is Josh. Like, he's a mini Josh. Do you? Okay, Mom. Like, shut.
I'm ready to go to bed.
He wants to play Minecraft. I'm closing in on 70,000 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed to me, please do. I need you guys to, I'm not going to be there.
Yeah, because I've already subscribed.
He's already subscribed tonight to me. My daughter, Brooke, will be doing our Whatnot Lives the next 2 nights. If you guys could please go show her some support. She's doing it at 7 p.m. Eastern because she does have nursing school. She is running it all by herself since we're here in DC. We'll be back on Whatnot Sunday night, and then I'll have a video out Thursday. I'll put it out while we're here in DC. Hayley, Josh, Tiffy, thank you so much for coming on.
thank you.
I greatly appreciate you guys. I never uploaded the outro, so Dalton, come help us wave everybody bye.
All right,
Thank you
before we
guys
leave,
so much.
make sure you guys
Rod.
subscribe on the replay. Go subscribe to Thrift in Vegas. It's getting her to
yes.
1,000.
Yes.
Share it on your IG accounts. Please share it. We want her to hit it in the next
24 hours, guys.
24 hours.
Get
She's
Tiffany
63
to
away.
100K.
So
She
give
only
her
wants
a
an
chance.
hour. We're going to do it.
An
Tell
hour.
your
Do it.
friends, have your mom's boyfriend's uncle, brother, college roommate subscribe, whatever
Cousin.
it takes, all right?
Yeah, get Tiffany to 100K. Bye, guys. Bye.